On, the U.S. government is set to cancel projects worth $500 million aimed at developing vaccines that fight respiratory viruses such as COVID-19 and the flu. Robert F. Kennedy has announced that the Department of Health and Human Services is going to cancel contracts and pull funding for those projects. In the recent past, the Republican has made many changes in the vaccine policy in America, from pulling back recommendations on the COVID-19 vaccines to removing everyone from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Scientific Vaccine Advisory Committee. Aditya on the telecast with me. Aditya, shed light into this latest rollback of the vaccine development projects worth $500 million that has been announced by Robert Kennedy.
Well, absolutely. If you see, the U.S. government is set to cancel projects worth $500 million aimed at developing vaccines that fight respiratory viruses such as COVID-19 and the flu. So, at this juncture, the Department of Health and Human Services is going to cancel contracts and pull funding for these projects. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has announced this. The vaccines that were under development were using mRNA technology. So the latest move by this makes this vaccine skepticism even clearer. In the recent past, the Republican has made many changes in the vaccine policy in the United States, from pulling back recommendations of the COVID-19 vaccines to removing everyone from Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Scientific Vaccine Advisory Committee. Yes, Megha.
All right, thank you for giving us that update. In fact, stay on with me. We're getting more information. The Russian Defense Ministry has shared a statement on the bilateral talks between Russia and India on defense. The statement reads that the Deputy Defense Minister, Colonel General Alexander Fomin, has held a meeting with Vinay Kumar, who is the ambassador of India to Russia. And during these talks, the sides discussed topical issues of bilateral cooperation in the defense sphere, confirmed the focus on further strengthening the specialized cooperation in the form of a particularly privileged strategic partnership. The meeting took place in a warm and friendly atmosphere, which is traditional for the Russian-Indian relations. Aditya is on the telecast with me. Aditya, very important to note that there is parallel meetings that are happening at the ambassador level between the Defense Ministry of Russia and the Indian ambassador to Russia, as well as the National Security Advisor to India, also now in Moscow. His meeting is going to be held very shortly with President Putin. All this in wake of threats that have been issued by the US President for India importing Russian oil.
Absolutely. I think, this is all being done, to make a strategic strategy, as to how that this strong Indo-Russian partnership, can counter the threats, that has been given by U.S. President Donald Trump, that he will raise a tariff if, India keeps buying oil from Russia. So at this juncture, it is very essential to note that, how this will definitely be worked out between the two sides, because Russia has been a long-standing ally of India, and we could expect further, some a long-term strategy, because, Donald Trump is here to stay, because he has just assumed the presidency of the United States, and in the second term, we are seeing some unprecedented decisions taken by him. So at this juncture, it needs to be seen, how and what method is being chalked out by the Indo-Russia, both the sides. Yes, Megha.